all of our pets are individuals. We are all individuals. So in the United States, for Librela or Silencia, as just one example, an injection ideally administered by a veterinary professional needs to happen once a month. If the client lives nowhere near a veterinary clinic, and there are places, not many, but there certainly are places in America where that's the case, maybe it's not the best option. If there is a concurrent neurological problem in a dog, Librela would not be the best option. And on and on and on. Every pet's an individual. Every pet family is an individual family. And for what works for one is not necessarily going to work for another.
Right.
Does
Okay.
that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we do advocate for glucosamine, for example, to help with arthritis. My dog is almost 10, and he's been on glucosamine tablets for a while, and they do help. They're probably not as effective as Solensia, but they do really help. Something like hydrotherapy, for example, is becoming quite popular as well, and that also helps. Obviously, water softens the blows, or a dog's walking, so that could maybe be another option.
Oh, there are lots of other options. So it's a room away, and I wish I could get it here. It's called an Assisi loop, and it provides targeted pulsed electromagnetic therapy. There's, to my knowledge, absolutely no side effect or adverse reaction. It minimizes or lowers inflammation. And you simply put this loop, it looks like a loop, and you place it on the dog. That's an option that actually there's scientific evidence of success for. There are several nutritional supplements that are available. You mentioned glucosamine. Some have more science behind them than others. And what works for one animal may not necessarily work as well for another animal. You mentioned, I think, hydrotherapy,
Yeah.
and that's great. But what if you can't get the cat, if it's a cat, into the pool to do hydrotherapy? Some dogs don't even like it. So the struggle to get out of the water may actually cause a problem. Or if the person doesn't have the ability to do hydrotherapy in their backyard, and most people do not, can they get to a facility that does that? There's also the expense involved in doing multimodal, which is wonderful, and I support that. But now you're doing two or three or four things, which cost more money. And there is also then our ability and time to do those two or three or four things. It turns out the best thing you could do for your dog or cat is encourage movement if we're talking about just osteoarthritis. So play, and it doesn't have to mean the kitten is like flying off the walls like a kitten does, but the older cat is just batting and moving and being interested in that toy has psychological benefits for that cat. And now what we're doing is we're enhancing the prey drive. For you in the UK, maybe what we do is keep that cat indoors. So nothing really bad can happen to that older cat. But on the other hand, we still need to engage that cat so that cat has an opportunity to use what they're born to do, and that is activate their prey drives. For dogs, it's no different. So rolling a ball just across a floor, perhaps a floor that has yoga mats down in it on it, so the dog is not sliding all over the place, is something that the dog would still enjoy doing. So it's not only enjoyment for the dog, but the other concurrent factor is as our pets become less active, we sometimes don't feed them any differently than we did. So now we're talking about even more of a problem with obesity. It's a long, long, long answer to say one size doesn't fit all. And I'm not purposely avoiding the question,
Hmm.
but what works for your dog or cat is not necessarily going to work for mine, not only because of the individual animal, but the individual lifestyles involved. So what a pet parent who's 112 years old is able to do may not be the same as to what someone who's 24 years old
Hmm.